It's 5 Minute Friday. One thing my wife makes fun of me for, I showed her one of these 5 Minute Fridays, is I take this black hat off, I put this black hat on. I don't know. It's more comfortable. Let's go. Let's put 5 minutes on the clock, and this week might be a little bit different because I wouldn't really call this welding, but it was something that I did today, and I thought it was a good tip, so I figured why not add it to the 5 Minute Friday. And what it is, well, what I was doing, I should say, was repairing like welds and undercut and cracks and different things in some steel parts that I was working on. And holders. What I was doing was taking a carbide burr and removing the indications that NDT was circled and things like that. And it's very similar from what I was doing when I worked over in the aerospace industry for the overhaul and repair. One of the things that you deal with when you're doing repair work like that with the carbide burr is little tiny slivers of metal, and those things get everywhere. So the best thing that I've found, and I was told about this a couple years ago, and it works phenomenal, and I just wanted to share it. I think everybody should have these in their shop, and not necessarily for what you think it's for, but this Friday I've got props, and it's these Scotch-Brite pads. You take this Scotch-Brite pad, you can cut them up a little bit if you want, but I just leave them in the full pad, and on your hands, you just rub them on your hands like this, and it will remove 90% of the slivers that you can't get out. It works phenomenal. If you've heard about this before, share it to everybody that you know that works in this industry, because for some reason a lot of people don't know about it. But always keep one of those pads in your toolbox just for whenever you've got a sliver that you can't get out, or you know you're going to be using a carbide burr to remove a crack or cut open something, and it really works. When I was working at my last job, we did this material that was called M190 jet heat, and that stuff was an absolute nightmare to use with a carbide burr, and that's what you used all the time on it. So little tricks like that can really save a lot of times, trying to pick this thing out, a lot of pain and suffering. Sometimes tweezers just won't get it. So having this type of a Scotch-Brite pad in your box will just rub it on your hands, rub it on your arm, wherever those things are at, and it really go in a circle. It seems to work them out and pulls those little burrs out. And I know some of you might be saying, well, you're using the wrong carbide burr. You got to use like the single flute ones and not the crisscross ones. And it's one of those things, if you ask me, it's kind of, I'm going to use what the company's going to provide for me, and they probably don't care if it causes little shards or not. They want to know, does it remove material or not? You use what they provide for you, and sometimes it might not be quite the right thing, but it works, gets the job done, and it doesn't seem to matter to me, especially with that jet heat stuff. It didn't matter what type of gloves you wore, those little tiny slivers would get down in between everything. So you just be very careful of where you put your hands, where you don't rub your arm, don't do all this crazy stuff. Just take the air gun and lightly blow on your arm, lightly blow on your hands, get the bulk of those slivers off of you. But it's inevitable that some of them are going to get inside your fingers, inside your hands, whatever. give that Scotch-Brite a try. So I know this is a little different, not really a welding tip, but this was something that I dealt with today at work and was definitely my go-to for pretty much my whole lunch break. I was in there just rubbing this Scotch-Brite pad on my hands, so my hands are nice and soft right now. But hopefully you're enjoying these 5-Minute Fridays. I've been enjoying recording them on my way home from work. So if you've got any questions or things you'd like to hear me try to answer, shoot me a message here on Welder Skills over in the forums, or leave a comment below. And we'll catch you next week.